Hello everybody, my name is John Fredriksson. As you already know, I'm a start animator and welcome to Animation in Progress. Well, we will dive in to cell animation. Now, I'm doing my own project, and as I say, I keep myself so much traditional as possible. And what's more traditional than cell animation? And in this one, I will go through how I work with my cell animation. First of all, you need to animate, and obviously I'm a traditional animator, so I need a bunch of papers and a bunch of pencils and that sort of things. And you sit down and animate. Not just out of coincidence, you have a plan, of course. And after a long while of both trial and error, you finally end up with a finished piece. Usually when it comes to animation, you have a rough sketch, and then you have the rough sketches all in between, and then you will have the final cut, which will be the painting cleaned up. Now, when it comes to doing the cell animation, I use two sort of things. First of all, I use this very pencil. It's a Faber-Castell multi-marker 1514 non-permanent. I have found this pencil very useful under my days. Being minded though, it's non-permanent, so it is also easy to remove. Therefore, you can use this cell many times as you like, but also be very aware of where you put your pencil and where you put your hand. It might just smudge off. And when it comes to the cell, I'm using a simple overhead plastic. It has two sides to it. One is just flat, other one is quite sandpaper, if you're willing to say that. It's a small marker on this with a thin piece of paper telling you which side it's which. Now I'm using the rough side as this animation, and I take the already finished piece of paper and then adding it to the cell. On the low bottom, I will put 1B. Now, why will I put 1B? Well, if it happens that you're transferring this to another person, it's good to know which side is the correct way. For instance, if it turns to the other side, it might be good to just check the letter and also check the number. Now, the letter B is being used mostly because it looks weird on the other side. So I'm just using it for convenience. Of course, you can use the letter E, you can use the letter F, and you can also use, well, probably the letter D, but probably not A or O or H. That will be quite a problem. In any case, when you start animating on this cell, be very careful with where you put your hand. Like I said before, it can smudge out. So my recommendation is to start from the far left of the screen and then moving down from top left and down. Also, while you're doing animation, you should let it dry for a while and then see if you need to probably refill it. Refill the painting, that of course. I have to do it with this one, so it actually sticks out a bit better. When later on it comes to copying this one, I use a simple copy machine. I put the cell animation on top of the copying machine and then put a pink piece of paper over it. Once again, I'm using the pink because it's more easier to follow the lines and also better for the computer later on to distinguish pink from black. And now we come to the final part. You have transferred this very picture into the computer. And very well in the computer, you take away all the pink and then try to take away so much, well, pink as you possibly can. And then the painting begins. Once again, it's just like working in an ordinary cell animation. Everything takes time. And even though I was on my own, it took me a valid 2 hours. I know what color I wanted, and I know how it was gonna be done. Also, during this process, it's good to actually double check many of your paintings. Sometimes you can actually fill in some up with the blanks. I use just Photoshop for this very particular method because it has multiple colors, multiple pencils, so it works fine. I do not have a pad which has a pencil on it. So I just uses my mouse, and it all works fine for me. While you're doing this, it's good to know also where you have gonna have lighting. Now, once again, I'm keeping my mind always on where this person is going to be. Also, while you're continuously doing this sort of animation, especially cell animation, it's good to remember one thing when you're working with this. One thing I didn't do on this one, because it would save me so much more time, is that you put on layers. Now the layers are simple. If you work on one hand, you should name it layer hand 1. And maybe if you're gonna have something else, you probably layer it leg 2 or leg left. This is simple enough that if you're starting to mess up, you don't have to take away too much of it. Layers are always very, very welcome in my book when you're working on cell animation on this very project. As well as having lighting, you don't want to make it look flat, so please be gentle as well with your shadows, because you're making it pop out even more. And here we go, the final picture. Now, I didn't really have a background on this, but I think it looks very nice, and I use this as the thumbnail. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you want to share it with friends and family, share it with friends and family. And you know what? Keep on drawing. I'll see you next time.